Hey now, Steve Stevens for Bionic Buzz. We're at the Newport Beach Film Festival for a special screening of the Cavern Club, The Beat Goes On. Yes, the club that the Beatles made famous back in the day. I actually didn't know it's been still around, so the documentary is all about that. Let's go see who we can talk to on the red carpet. So how's it feel to be here at the Newport Beach Film Festival?
Well, it's very exciting. We spent the afternoon here, had a walk, and we've been back to the hotel and we've just come back for this. So we'd seen the hotel already, and now it's all lit up and exciting.
Very cool. So tell us about the process of making this film.
It's taken over 2 years. It was part of the 60th anniversary for the Cavern Club, which was 60 in 2017. So that's when it all started. And we've been sort of celebrating for a long time, as you do when you get to 60th anniversaries. So we've had party, we've had vinyl releases, we've had a beautiful coffee table type book with lovely plate illustrations. We've had something else, it'll come to me, and then the final piece of the jigsaw was this documentary, which has taken a long time to put together, and we've got our producers here, LA Productions, that are all excited too, because they've actually pieced the whole thing together. What we did have, the other thing, was a theatre presentation with Pete Best in Liverpool. Absolutely fabulous, yes.
Very cool.
All part of the 60th celebration.
I mean, I know it's famous for the Beatles. I didn't know it was still around, honestly.
Oh, well, the thing is, the documentary is called A Documentary of the Cavern Club, The Beat Goes On.
Yeah, I forget that.
And that's the whole thing. The beat goes on. The Beatles were obviously enhanced the fame of the Cavern Club, but they were at a certain point in time for a couple of years. And we had Adele a couple of years ago. She launched 21 on the stage of the Cavern Club by her own request.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she rang us to say, can I come and launch my new album there? And of course, within weeks, she was a global superstar with 21. So people want to come to us. So it's not obviously now, at this stage, not just the Beatles, even though Paul comes not regularly, but every now and again he gets on that stage, and he did last year.
Oh, that's so amazing. All right, guys, so producing a documentary is a lot of love, because, you know, talk about the process of putting this whole thing together.
A lot of work. It was a fantastic project. It was an absolute honour to do it. We really did tackle every part of filmmaking while making it, to be honest. It's a big story. It's a story that spans 60 years, and it's a predominantly archive documentary, actually, with interviews and. But it's an absolute honour to do it, to be honest. We're really excited to see what the response is going to be.
Yeah, I'm excited. I actually didn't know the club was still around. I mean, I knew about it from the Beatles, growing up listening to Breakfast with the Beatles and all that stuff. So talk about the history of what it's been doing since then, I guess.
Since the movie? The history of the club, you mean? I think it's been amazing. It's like so much highs and lows, and it's such a difficult story to tell, to be honest, because there is so many point of view, but what we try to do is like telling the story of the people that were in the shadows. So not the people that made the club famous, but the people that were in the shadow, made the club famous and made other people go into history, like the Beatles and many other bands.
There's certain people that you'll see when you see the film that are not well known, but they should be. They're icons, and if it wasn't for them, there's a couple of them very early on, the owners of the club, because there's a series of owners. The club, really, the story of the film is the story of the owners, and those people aren't well known, and if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have all these fantastic bands like the Beatles and everything that came out of that era.
I was here for they had a ska documentary, and I was talking about how it's hard to convert a lot of the old footage into digital. Was that kind of hard for you guys too? Was there some footage that was just too bad, like kind of destroyed, they couldn't use?
I think it was pretty much easy because we had the lack of finding a lot of footage around. I think Kodak was very helpful for us because Kodak converted a lot of footage from the 60s and the 70s into 2K, and you will see it is an amazing color footage from the 60s and the 70s that as a cinematographer for the film, it was very hard to putting new footage beside it. It was very hard to compare it to be beside that, because it was so real and so natural that you feel like very down low. But I reckon we've done our best to be beside that footage, and that archive is amazing.
I'm a little embarrassed to admit this. I didn't know the club was still around, honestly. I knew about it from the Beatles history, but so I guess we follow the owners of the club, and you're one of them, right? Or directors of it.
One of the directors, yeah. We've got two of the owners with us, Bill Heckle and Julia Baird. I've been a director about 7 years. But, the Cavern is very much still open.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
so who plays there now? Is there like actually a good rock scene over there?
Absolutely. It's the skill for us has always been you've got to pay tribute to the Beatles and all the other great bands that play there. So we've got two stages. One stage is paying tribute to the Beatles, the Kinks, the Who, all those fantastic bands. The other room we do a lot of new music. So there'll be up and coming bands. There'll be named bands. We do have regular Beatle tributes as well in the back with the Cavern Club Beatles. It's very eclectic. So the skill for us, it's a major tourist attraction, but it's also a proper thriving live music venue. Otherwise it'd be a museum.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. So talk about the process of your helping co-directing the film. Like, how long did you guys work on it?
About 2 years we were on it, really, because it shouldn't have taken that long. But the minute we started the process of it, it was like we kept finding more and more gems, more and more stories. So we thought, well, nobody's ever done a definitive story of the Cavern. So if we're doing it, let's get it right. So it took about 2 years, a few hurdles along the way, but we're very pleased with how it's ended up.
Very cool. I'm very excited to see it. You got anything else coming up for you? Allowed to plug or anything?
That's the Cavern. We're up to all sorts of things. We just come off a cruise line where we've just launched another Cavern Club on a cruise ship.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we did a deal, so we've got 3 caverns on cruise ships. We've just signed a deal to put caverns throughout Canada and China and Brazil as well. So we're opening caverns in key territories, but I think I'll leave the filmmaking to the other guys.